Hi everybody, so we are talking about March Madness and retail sales today. So the first thing I kind of want to talk about is when it comes to retail sales, I like to be as prepared as possible, which is sort of a no-brainer, of course, and I'm sure all of you work to do the same thing as well. But I like to be extra mindful. So I usually start maybe like the day before. I know I have a client coming in, so whatever shift I'm working before the shift that client is due, I like to do a little bit of research. So I not only obviously look at their notes, obviously work from memory if it's a repeat client, but if it's a new client, read notes, see if they've been here before, and see what sort of skin type they have, and also what their goals are, if you can find those in the notes, and then also obviously within their intake form. So of course we go through all of that and sort of take a look at all of that and come up with ideas of okay, so this person's oily, this person's dry, etc., etc. So all the normal things that you normally do when you're doing your research. But I also like to take it a little bit further too and look through their history and see if they have any purchases that they've made in the past. That's one of my very favorite things, and it's the easiest way to sort of know, like sort of just have a sale in the bag. You look at what they've purchased in the past and see if maybe, hey, might be about time for them to re-up on that daily microfoliant or whatever it is. So definitely take a look at their purchase history if you can. I like to make little notes ahead of time too. You don't have to go this far, but at least maybe make the notes in your head. But I like to take little notes so I know who my client is, and I'll say, they have purchased this in the past, might be time to re-up on it. Or, I'll also just ask them like, hey, how is that daily microfoliant working out for you? Because, maybe it might be something where somebody says, you know what, it's just not enough for me. It's not what I expected. I think I need more. Or, you know what, it's great, but I do still feel like I'm a little bit dehydrated. You can then like sort of open up a discussion with them way ahead of time before you even take them out to the purchase area, to like start a discussion with what's not working for you. How can I help you? Look, this product might be better for you. So things like that. Sounds like a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. I know we get busy, but if you really take that time to really, really just do a lot of research, it really, really, it helps. And it takes a lot of thinking off your shoulders during the facial. You already know what you're gonna suggest for them. You already know what you're gonna talk about. Gives you something to talk about throughout the facial, all of that, etc. So that being said too, what I also like to do is I have it in my head, and so I have these parameters already set up, so that way I don't have to do very much thinking throughout the course of the facial. So wherever our conversation takes us throughout the facial, or wherever the treatment takes us, I can concentrate on those things as opposed to having to think about like, what am I going to suggest to this person? How am I going to get this person to like it and buy it, etc., etc. So the 4 times that I like to speak to people, and they a lot of them are probably the same as you, but I like to hit all 4 times. The first time would be just, of course, within their intake, when they come in for their intake. Hi, how are you? How's everything going? How's your skin? And I always pose a question to them at that point, like, so how are you doing, like, at home? Like, have you been able to maintain your routine? Are you finding you're too busy? Things like that. You can pull information from them that way, starting in the intake. The next time I like to do it is when I do the skin analysis, and through that I can say, wow, you really are pretty dehydrated, and it looks like some of your cells aren't really turning over as quickly as maybe they used to, etc., however you want to word it. But that gives me the chance to see what is challenging them with their skin, and that's the point where I get to bring up and tell them what they might be finding as a challenge, and sort of talk about product. Then, well, we have this great product that might help you. Let's see how this facial goes, and we'll talk, we'll do it then. The third time that I like to bring it up is within the facial at some point, and maybe even several times if you can. I like to bring up products during that time, because I like to show them, like, remember how in the skin analysis we were talking about what's really challenging you right now is your cells aren't turning over as quickly, and you're getting some dead skin cells, kind of the debris left on your skin, and it's causing breakouts, etc., however it is. And that's when I go, well, you know what? Right now, I'm about to use daily microfoliant, or whatever it is that you're going to use, and this is a really great product. You should probably think about taking it home, because it's really going to improve your skin that much more. Then the 4th time, of course, is going to be when you escort them out and take them to the product area. Now, I know sometimes we get busy, and I do see that, like, and I see myself, I'm thinking about, I have another client waiting and I haven't even turned my room yet. But always take that time if you can. If you've already mentioned products 3 times throughout the course of the facial, then when you get to that 4th time, when you go to the product area, you don't really have to spend too much time talking. You can just kind of be like, remember that product we were talking about in the facial? Well, here it is, and I think that you should buy it. So those are just some tips that I have. I know that I'm sure a lot of you either do this or you're kind of like, yeah, I know there's nothing new there, but really what it is just take your time to slow down the day before when you're doing your research. If you don't have time to do research the day before, at least hopefully you'll have 10 or 15 minutes before your client gets there where you can really sit down without distraction and really like think about what you're going to sell to this person. I always like to come up with, before I even see my client, at least 6 in my head that are possibilities, because you know that once you do see them, some things change. Maybe their skin condition is different, or whoever wrote the notes before kind of left a lot of information out and you don't really know what's going on. But I like to have 6 ahead of time. That way I can narrow it down to at least 3. And those are things that just help me. For me, it's not about, or I should say for me, it's about being as prepared as possible beforehand. That way I don't have to think too hard and I can concentrate on the actual facial itself. So I hope that helps. All right, happy March Madness.